I'm Walt Mossberg. Shut up. Sit back in your chair now and don't say a peep. Beware heavy spoilers or freshness will seep. For I'm about to review Superbrothers Sword and Sworcery EP. You may wonder now exactly why I, of the quick mind and the keen eye, would choose to review a game so tardily that other reviewers speak of now hardly, as the news cycle moves to the next thing ardently. But I find it an oddity that people loved it so honestly, because this game enraged me bodily. And while I don't consider purchasing it larceny, it's taken me all this time to say how much I hate it. Now before I draw sword and neatly eviscerate, I'll take a moment to calmly contemplate the upsides of this downward experience, and though yes I am senile, I'm not delirious. There were some. The game's graphics and sounds were lush and beautiful, each screen an eye, ear, mouth, hand, nose, and suitful of joy to behold, made with utmost precision. On this score, the game earns no derision. For most reviewers, this made their 5-star decision. These ignorant jerks distracted by baubles, ignoring the game's many quirks and faubles. But I can't, I won't, I've too much integrity. And though at first this game looks quite deceptively great, it isn't. For there's a gaping inequity between the experience and the expectancy that you're playing a game, not consuming a slideshow. And how they forgot the game in their game, I can't know, because one would assume that'd be top of the list. The one single thing to make their players blissed. And now one last brief word before I continue to tear up this game's awkwardly sinew about the art which loving's within you. Great music does not actually afford littering your landscape of trees, hills, and fjords with real vinyl records, a gag negatively scored, marking you hackneyed and me bored. Back now to the game, to the meat of the matter. The gameplay was missing. It was an empty bladder. Its lack of inclusion made me madder and madder, made worse by all saying it couldn't be radder. But if you listen close, you'll hear the pit-pat-patter of the game's developers, chronic fip-fap-fappers, jizzing in your face and calling it interactive. The controls for the game were all well and fine, except edge-of-screen movement, used all the time, as you'd frequently yell out curses sublime, as you tried and failed to reach the next screen, forced to return where you'd already been. So the system, the annoying bit-blitting preen, could be told successfully, with the appropriate telemetry, I want to go there especially, you computational jackass. On the orientation of the iPad, I found the experience quite bad. When I play, I hold my device in hand. The game's orientation forced palm into band, which smothered and muted the iPad speaker, making the music softer, meeker, nay, weaker, making me wonder, has no one ever tested this? When doldrums give way, finally, to combat, you need rotate your iPad to in any way attack that beast or whatever, the man dressed as a bear. If I had any left, I'd have pulled up my hair in frustration at being forced something so precious. And though I realize that feature's coolness is census, it made me want to shatter the developer's plexus. The game's a pastiche by classic games enciphered, which means plenty of puzzles must be deciphered. It's like communism, good in theory, but the puzzles I found made me angry and bleary, for they were capricious, weird, and quite arbitrary. Repeated puzzles with different rules, leaving me weary of doing anything other than filling up my goddamned bins. Nonsensical puzzles make not a challenge, for they went the route of forcing to scavenge, click, drag, and rubbing everything on screen, hunting and becking to see what it means. After rubbing out not one but 2 different rainbows, I yelled, how the puzzle mechanic for this game blows. Random buttons aren't complexity, you simmering simps. It just makes this game seem made by infinite chimps. Earlier on, I did gripe about this game's combat system, as it borrows from video games' worst symptom. It requires not skill to defeat your aggressor, only that you be an obsessive screen presser. If your timing is off by the merest fraction, you'll find yourself dead in the hands of a goddamn orange triangle. The story itself, people do constantly praise, and on this point, a question I raise. What game did they play? What story did they see? The story at all was absent from me. Nameless hero and you engage on a quest to steal the megatome for reasons best unanswered. No, wait, reasons unprovided, with dialogue cornball heavily derided. When you steal this book and unleash a ghostly tyrant who stalks you half-heartedly, rarely violent, your task given next, assemble MacGuffins aplenty to fill up your magic pouch, initially empty. To grow strength enough, destroy the book just pilfered and kill the tyrant, for a game never whispered why you would do this or why you should care. Your character's cupboard's motivationally bare, and as you approach the end of your non-germane duty, heavy hands they do tell you your whole task is hooey. You're somebody's puppet, and to cause the boogeyman's bane, you and your book most forcibly wane. An attempt at emotion is forced down your gullet as you watch your corpse down a waterfall plummet. But the thing, it is pointless. You don't know her somewhat. She was a cipher all through, not a hero to trumpet. And that was the game. Pretty but poor written and pointless. Loved by most as though something boisterous. The lack of game brushed aside, that's not the point of it. But it was, and it is, for its foremost a game. An experience of playing it painfully lame. And trite, and cloying, and pretentiously dull. Am I right, Superbrothers, you Jethro Tulls? Verbal tricks like you try are best used sparingly, in addition to real content that's not glaringly bad, as games like a rap by Snoop Dogg or some such. Always saying how great he is, but never much showing it. And show you must do, but you didn't, you jerk, so screw you! Has been Walt Mossberg. Shut up.